Manchester City have dominated the Premier League for the past 10 years now, having won the last three Premier Leagues in a row. But who is there coming up that's going to knock them off their perch? Anybody? Let's find out. Let's think about it. When will somebody knock Manchester City off the top spot, Tom?
They won't.
Does not.
I think it'll be very hard. You look at teams that have come up, Liverpool, Arsenal. I'd like to put United in there, but we're not in there. I just don't really think there's anyone that can really do that. I've not seen anyone come in. Every time I've seen to get Old Trafford, every time City come, I always say they're the best. Like, it's sad to say, but there's no one that can really compare. I think it is all down to Pep. And
That's
also
what
the
I was
money as
about to
well.
say. I think when he leaves, which he will do eventually, he will leave Man City. I think that's the starting point for every other team. I think. I
Yeah,
think there's other things I'd like to say. There's other teams I'd like to mention, and they could possibly do it, but I don't think Manchester City will be off the top
no.
until Pep leaves.
Well, I've kind of got 3 points about Pep leaving because obviously I don't know if you know about much about Pep at other clubs, but he's always seemed to get bored almost. At like Bayern, Barca, he kind of won everything and
Yeah,
kind of thought a bit bored now. Like Barcelona's his club and he still left. He has in the past made a few points that he loves City, and if he was bored, he would have left by now. Um,
well,
so I don't know. Can you
he's been
see
at
him leave?
Manchester City for ages now.
Yeah, like 7 or 8 years. I think it is now
Yeah,
7.
which is longer than
Uh,
he's spent in
can
any
you,
other job.
yeah, can you see him leaving anytime soon?
I think if they win the Champions League, he'll do one more season. I think he'll win the Champions League and then be like, "Oh, that was fun," and then the next season will bore him so much because he won't have that same drive that he'll
Yeah.
then maybe. He's the type of manager I feel like would like to win everything in all leagues. So he might
Possible.
go to Italy or something.
I did think Italy. I could see him going to like a. I don't even know. I don't. Juventus? No, I don't think I could
Yeah,
see that.
Juve, Inter,
He'd always go
AC.
to the biggest club. He
Yeah,
doesn't go to the smallest club in the country. He wouldn't go to Sassuolo or something.
no,
Like,
I could see him at
uh,
Napoli.
I, they've got a solid manager at the moment though.
Yeah, but yeah,
So
I think that's when the Premier League will go back to its anybody's fair game. Now, that's not to say that Manchester City will win every time until Pep leaves. I think is definitely case for some other clubs coming back up, but Manchester City will always be there. They'll always be fighting. They'll always be that relentless club until they get back, until Pep
yeah,
leaves.
honestly, I could see City win the league for the next 2 years,
Yeah,
unless something drastic happens and United get new owners and all of a sudden United challenging or Liverpool Klopp gets Liverpool back, Liverpool looking good again, or Arsenal are up there, but it's like 100 points is like the minimum you need to win the league, seemingly. I know it's not, but you know my point. Like,
yeah,
basically, you need to do a lot more than you used to. You used to be able to win the league on like 80 points, and that'd be fine. This season has been a bit like that, but City started badly. We say City started badly, but they didn't start badly. They just started
yeah.
not normal
Not
City.
like City.
Exactly. So you have to get minimum 80 points to even be in with a shout of, well, top three these days.
Yeah,
Forget.
definitely.
I think this season has been a bit different. I don't know why. I feel like a normal season because there was a stat I seen the other day, and United. Do you know when Jose Mourinho got United to second? United have the same amount of points that Arsenal have right now. So if Arsenal win the next game, they will only have 3 more points than Jose Mourinho's United got. And Jose Mourinho's
Wow.
United was not even classed as they was just classed as second place.
Yeah. And there was well, I mean, they were 30 points behind City, weren't they? Like,
Exactly. That's the kind of levels to City.
yeah, it is insane. But is there another team that could who's the next team that'll win the Premier League other than Manchester City?
Liverpool, Chelsea, if they get going, if they get
I don't think
next
Liverpool
season,
will be a threat for another couple of years,
in
Liverpool are getting
possibly.
Europa League football. Let's face it, United only need another point to secure Champions League football. They'll get
I
a
know.
point from Chelsea because we always draw to Chelsea. Liverpool need to bolster their midfield, but are they going to be able to attract the same level of talent
Have you
when they
seen?
have Europa League football?
Have you seen how many English players Liverpool need? They need so many players, English players, to just kind of be able to play next season. Because you
Yeah,
need
because
to have a minimum of, I
there's
think, is
certain
it
rules, isn't there?
17? I think they need a minimum of 17, and I've seen a stat today or something. They've got once everyone's left, they'll have about seven.
Yeah, because who's leaving? It's James Milner and Oxlade
James
Chamberlain.
Miller, Oxlade-Chamberlain. People reckon Kelleher is going to leave. He's technically an English player because he's played in England between the ages of 18 and 21.
Okay.
There's a few other defenders and stuff that people reckon are going to leave um, for game time. So they're going to need some English players.
And
But
if they're
without that
signing English
Bellingham,
players, they're
not
not
that
gonna,
many. They're going to have to buy loads of shitters, really.
yeah,
Um,
or just bring a few through the academy a bit earlier than they'd like.
yeah, but then again, you've got that thing of us. They'll have no squad depth.
Yeah,
They won't compete because they want the squad depth.
yeah. I don't see Liverpool as a threat to City or to anybody really for another couple of years. I think they could come back, and I think they probably should stick with Klopp if he
Yeah.
still wants to be there. But I don't see them coming back for a few years. I do, however, see Newcastle being the next team to win the Premier League.
Within the next how many years? Give us a time frame.
For
Four.
4 years,
I,
I think
I,
in 2 years they'll be challenging, and I think within 4 years they'll have won it because I think we shouldn't underestimate the power of getting Champions League football does to the market. They
yeah.
will be
Let's just
able
go
to
again. Let's
sign
just go
really good
again.
players now.
Can't underestimate the power of oil money owners.
Very true.
I can see Chelsea. If Chelsea get grooving, as they say, and they get their players moving that are very good, I can see them challenging.
I
Next
think
season,
the only
they're not going to
thing,
have European football. The squad depth is going to be immaculate because they're not going to have to play in Champions League, Europa League, or Conference League. If they go out of the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, they're just going to have a normal 38 game season. And I could see
the
them
only
challenging.
thing that stops Chelsea is Todd Bowley. He needs to learn to take a step back. And if he
Yeah.
can't learn that, Chelsea will be doomed. If
If you
he
get,
can,
yeah,
then Chelsea can get back on track. If he can just be the owner and let everybody else who understands football manage properly and he just employs the right people, that's all he has to do, then Chelsea can get back on track. But until then,
yeah,
I don't think because let's remember the reason that
and you will pay
Pochettino
career
didn't
mode.
like Tottenham in the end, the reason that he didn't like PSG in the end is that he had no power or no control whatsoever. So
Yeah.
Todd Bowley, all he has to do next season is be like, Poch, there's all the power, there's all the control.
Do
You
what you
have it
want.
all in your hands. Do what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's the kind of man that does that because he's a billionaire and they quite enjoy the
Playing
power
career
that
mode. He
comes
doesn't
with
want
money.
to do that. He wants to have a bit. He's probably thought, I've earned all this money. I want a bit of fun.
Yeah, it is a bit
I see
fun
him.
for him, isn't it?
He said he watched the. Have you heard about the Enzo Fernandez story?
No.
He watched the World Cup final and he seen him playing well. And he thought, I want him, so he signed him. That was his scouting. He's watching the World Cup final. I want him. That's
I
the
mean, I'm
kind
pretty
of
sure
behind it.
most of the world hadn't really heard of Enzo Fernandez until until the World Cup. Um, uh, it was very his rise to becoming a top league footballer was very quick. Yeah, so I don't see Chelsea as a threat. I don't see Liverpool as a threat. Newcastle, I think, is a threat. I mean, Champions League football, the money, the moolah,
Yeah,
that's going to be a big thing. And let's not forget the fact that Eddie Howe is a good manager.
yeah, he is
He's
very
a
good.
solid manager. He's a good tactician. He could do it.
Once again,
Arsenal, I don't see as a threat
uh,
at all. I think Arsenal
really,
struggle for top
I
four next year.
yeah, I can. Yeah, I agree actually. But we're skipping the elephant in the room again.
Go on.
You're wearing it on your shirt.
Yeah.
Man United. You don't want to say it, do we? We don't want to say anything.
No, because other
I don't think we
Manchester
do.
United fans that post stuff on the internet will happily go like, "We're gonna win it all soon. We're Man United and we've won the lot and we're never gonna stop," you know. And if I'm honest, I don't see it in the next couple of years. But I don't want to see it in the next couple of years either. And just wait. Let me explain myself. I think United fans are terrible at rebuilding. We rush it too much. We expect too much
Agree.
too soon, and therefore the rebuilding never happens properly, and we always sack the manager too soon.
Yep. Yep.
I think we need to understand that having a trophy this year is exceeding expectations. It might not actually be exceeding genuine, expectations from fans because they expect to win everything every single year, but it was a very good start for Eric Ten Hag. Next season shouldn't be challenging for the league.
No.
That's not the goal next season. It should be a solid top four finish without this whole end of the season. Are we going to get top four? Are we not?
Yeah.
That should be the goal.
Well,
And
you can see it. Just to go back to our predictions, if you want to go and see the on allsportreports.com. But in our predictions, I think I put United as fifth, possibly even sixth. So for me to be finishing fourth, and at one point we were looking at City and being 3 points away, to me is just incredible. I've been to Wembley. Been to Wembley twice already. Going once more for the FA Cup final like this. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to
yeah.
go to Wembley for another good few years.
And just, being back in the Champions League is fantastic. Having an FA Cup final, fantastic. Especially against Manchester City, that's a brilliant final. Like, that's a memory. Even if we lose, it's a memory that's been created and stuff. He's done a very good job, and I think he needs time with players of his own to build up his squad. Transfers, especially with Manchester United, they take a while. And it's not like
If
we've got Todd Bowley that we can just get every single player that the manager's ever wanted straight away.
Here's
It
my
takes
next question then.
time.
If we got the Qatar owners, full sale, Qatar only owners come in, all debts paid off, do you think we can challenge them?
I don't think we should challenge.
No, that's not my question.
I don't think
It
that should
would.
be the plan, if I'm
But if that
honest.
was to happen,
I think it's a possibility. I
I
think it's
think,
a possibility. I think Ten Hag is a good enough manager to do that.
yeah. And by the signings of what they want, it sounds like they'd want all these big players. And if they did that, you'd be questioning why couldn't that squad win everything? Have you got another Todd Bowley situation? I don't know.
Well, exactly. I think sometimes you can get too much too soon. We all forget that Manchester City didn't win anything straight off the bat. They built
Yeah,
up slowly. I think Newcastle, like I say, I think they're the next ones to be perennial Premier League winners. I don't think they'll do it straight away, but I think
Eddie Howe's
building up
done.
the squad and building up your facilities and everything like that. I think we
Yeah,
forget that the training ground still needs a lot of work at Carrington. I think Manchester United really do need to do a full rebuild, and to rush that would be to have dire consequences in the future.
yeah, of course.
So yeah, no, I don't see United knocking Man City off the top soon, but I
No.
do hope it would be in the conversation within the next 5 years. So yeah, I think the only team left to talk about really is Arsenal. And I don't see that, like I say, I don't see them as a threat for top four next season. Well, no, I see them as a threat for top four. I don't see them as
Oh,
a
I was going to
as
say
a as a threat for the title.
that one can go on TikTok.
Yeah, I think they have overachieved this season massively, but the capitulation at the end is indicative of a lower placed team.
I
And
can see him being a solid top four team and just kind of staying there. But then you've got so many teams going for that as well. If Tottenham
yeah,
get up there,
I think
Chelsea.
like a lot of things, it depends on the transfer market. if they get a few really good players, if they bolster their defense, as soon as Saliba went out, they really struggled at the back. Rob Holding can't hold a thing. Like it's not a great position to be in when you've got
Yeah,
one player go out and all of a sudden your season's over.
yeah.
If they bolster their defense, if they get a couple more midfielders and maybe a striker, because I don't think Jesus has been that much of a revelation for Arsenal as some people think. I think if
No,
they get
it's been
another
all
striker,
right. But yeah,
like they could go on to challenge again,
I
but I
think
don't
it
think
was
they
right.
will. I
I
really
know, I
don't.
know the Arsenal fans like to sing like your defense is in trouble, but come on, Nketiah's not good enough. I don't think. Uh, he's not.
Nketiah needs to
Uh,
be sold for his own sake. If Nketiah went to Everton, oh, he'd be back at a big six club in 4 years, 3 years. Play your lights out at a club like Everton. Play your lights out at a club like Crystal Palace. You'll be back at a big club soon, but
and his level.
or find his level possibly, yeah. But
He did good at Leeds, didn't he?
to play off the bench in a big six club to start your career, unless you are the next Lionel Messi, you're going to struggle. So I think basically what we're saying is Manchester City will continue winning Premier League titles for as long as Pep Guardiola is there.
I got one more point though.
Go on then. Go on then.
Football is such a fast-paced, changing market. If you would have told me or you 5 years ago, Newcastle will be third in the Premier League in the Champions League, going into the Champions League, we would have gone, nah, you're lying.
True. True.
They are.
As
They've done
well
it.
as Southampton being relegated.
Yeah.
5 years ago, Southampton were a
Leicester,
solid
Leicester,
top table team.
yeah, if you would have told me when Leicester was in the Europa League that they would be going down in a season or two, I wouldn't have believed you.
Exactly. Yeah, to be fair, it is ever changing, and all also like most pundits get proven wrong at some point. You can say something about sport, but at some point it's going to be proven wrong. Um,
Yeah.
uh, but
It's just opinion. It's all opinion.
yeah,
Like
it's all
can't
opinion.
you
And
can't you
most
can't
importantly, we want to hear your opinion. See that
we
segue?
do. I do. I like it.
Make sure you tell us if you disagree with us. Tell us if you agree with us. That's always nice. Write it down in the comments below. Make sure you like this video because it really helps us with the whole YouTube algorithm thing. And subscribe for more content. We'll see you next time.